Welcome everyone to AW Nite Florence. As an introduction, while we wait for every one of you to join us, let me show you something about AWE, which is the wonderful host of our community event. AWE is this great association about XR, which is spreading worldwide. As you can see in this map of the world, it's really getting everywhere, and that's good for XR. It shows it's spreading everywhere. And it has three main events, physical events, one in the US, one in Asia, and one in Europe, which are coming throughout this year. So you can already see the dates and the locations, so you can already try to book some tickets. And of course, if you book them in advance, you can have some early bird discount. Also there are some important events. This is a LinkedIn event that is coming called Communities Advancing the XR Industry. That is hosted by AWE and is happening on the 13th of March at 9 a.m. PT or 12 p.m. ET, depending on your time zone. You can follow also AWE on the social media channels. It's basically everywhere. And also there is the AWE Academy, through which you can learn important skills for your XR job. So there is an academy about the fundraising for XR startups, and also a workshop about web AR. You may be interested in participating to improve your skills. So there is also an XR newsletter at awxr.com. You can get all the information you want. And now I think that we are ready to invite on stage the main host of this event, which is CECILIA LASCIALFARI.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey,
Welcome.
CECILIA.
Welcome, everybody, to Nite Florence. My name is CECILIA LASCIALFARI. I am the founder of area6stuff.com and the Italian representative for Archive. I am an artist and AI researcher and international journalist. I would like to open today's with a little story about Dante Alighieri and the Divina Commedia. Dante Alighieri was a Florentine poet, writer, and politician, and he is considered the father of the Italian language. Critics stated that Dante Alighieri wrote the Divina Commedia around the first 20 years of the 14th century. In the Romantic era, Dante Alighieri became the main symbol of Italian national identity, and the Divina Commedia is considered one of the greatest works of literature of all time, so much that it's known and studied throughout the world. In this poem, Dante wrote of an imaginary trip through the three other worldly realms: hell, purgatory, and paradise, which will lead him to the vision of the Trinity. His imaginary and allegorical representation of the Christian afterlife is a culmination of the medieval worldview developed in the Catholic Church. The work significantly contributed to the process of consolidation of the Tuscan dialect as an Italian language. I'm telling you about the Divina Commedia as an introduction of this 12th Nite Florence because Dante, before reaching the paradise, passed through the hell and purgatory in an ascent towards heaven, overcoming difficulties and questioning everyone who came across his way. Dante started his trip in a constant feeling of fear, ignoring where he was going. And the poem starts talking about a dark forest in which Dante finds himself after having lost the straight path. Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai per una selva oscura, poiché la dritta via era smarrita. In the middle of the journey of our life, I found myself in a dark forest because the straight path was lost. And isn't it what exactly happened when generative AI came into the mainstream? We lost the straight path. we got lost for a moment and we got scared of this new wave, and we immediately start asking ourselves about the future. In all sectors, we are trying to understand if generative AI is just a current type or if it should be integrated into the business process. And today we are here to try to understand how AI is adapting to the XR world. Is generative AI really the present and the future of the content creation? Is it possible to develop a game only by writing a prompt? Can artificial intelligence go against virtual reality? Or can they be used together to enhance immersive world? How can we digitize tourism with AI and large language models? How can we get an AR experience aware of the context? So, is AI and XR a match made in heaven? This is why at this Nite Florence today, we have invited three great professionals, such as Marco Giammetti, KATHERINA UFNAROVSKY, and RAFAEL BROWN. And here with me, there is also my co-organizer of the Nite Florence event, Antony Vitillo. Hi, Antony. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Ciao, Cecilia. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you and with these amazing speakers and with the AWS community. So we can make this started, I think. So let me bring on stage the first speaker, which is Marco Giammetti, which is someone I'm personally also a big fan of. Marco is one of the leading voices of gaming in Italy, and he's also well known in the VR community. He's a consultant at Memori.AI and Commigo.it. He's an indie developer of Hypothermic Games in Italy. I also remember his game Banana for Scale, which I personally liked. His speech today is entitled The Practical Lessons about Integration of VR and AI. So Marco, the stage is yours. Dagli tutta.
Thanks. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for the kind word. I love you too. And okay, Tony said it all. I'm a consultant and designer for some B2B experience, and I'm passionate about VR and gaming for a lot of years. So today I'm here to show you a VR integration of an AI platform named Isuru. In my free time, I'm working also on a VR game named Downtown Club with my friend. That's a computer game that is about to be published after 2 years of development. So check it out because it's a really nice game. So VR and AI, how to tie them nice and tight. This is the title of this presentation. The AI platform that I'm presenting is Isuru, and is a web-based AI platform for conversational AI. The task of my team in the last 2 years was to create a VR front-end for this conversational AI with human interaction first. That was one of my milestone. The feature of this platform are simple but effective. There are some custom environment with custom scripts. You can upload on the platform a custom model of your environment with custom script that will be included in the updated version of the client. Create custom model for your avatar, like in VR chat or something like that, and create custom objects that are physics-based, like we will about to see in the next slides. This was a presentation that I made last week in Florence at Viola Park, and so the environment for this slide, these slides are a stadium. This is not a stadium designed by me because I get the stadium from Sketchfab, because I was trying to demonstrate that something that you get from the web, you can put it inside our platform. And so we chose the stadium because we were at Viola Park. The stadium, it was worked on because the model needed customization and optimization. Luckily, it's our job so it was relatively easy to fix everything, to have a structure that met our usability standards. Our platform is on standalone VR headset, so it's not we don't have unlimited power, but we have an automatic system that check if the model is nice and clear, and we manually give the consent to be published on the platform, because we have to check the scripts and stuff. The virtual spaces are easy to update and to upload on the platform, because you have to go on the dashboard, go in virtual spaces, and create your virtual spaces, just uploading the file that are needed to check out the virtual space. Inside the virtual space, you can get the agents or the twin. Everything is on the platform. You are not in Unity, you are not in VR, you are on the web platform, and you can choose where the twin or the agents are, and we have the total control on the twin itself. You can give a personality, you can insert media, videos, link inside the responses or the answers. And we have a nice addition, because all the twins and or agents have generative AI responses, and this is not tied to OpenAI. We have Mistral 2 and other that will be available in the future. And this is nice because you have your twin, and you can give him a prompt to say, okay, you have to behave like this. In this case, I created a soccer ball that is the main attraction of the stadium, but you have to answer as if the ball was kicked too much. So it's a little bit stunned. It's really nice. The automatic, the generative responses are really funny. And one of the things that you have that you can modify all the answers. So if as much as the other users will interact with the twin, you have all the control to change that answer that is generative oriented. You can access that answer, modify, get a media, a link, a video, a PDF, and everything. You have the total control of all the access of the generative AI. This is the login room of our experience. You can see I have my avatar that is look like me, and it's a Ready Player Me model, but you can have a custom model too, we will see later. And you have the interface where you can check out what world you want to see. So in this case, we choose the stadium. Inside the stadium, you can see another feature of the platform, so making an environment totally explorable. In just 5 minutes, you upload, you explore. So you have just to put the headset on and play around in your environment. And then the soccer ball that I was saying before. The ball in the center of the scene is not only an interactive object, but it's also a twin. So I can answer question to that twin, and it's totally physics-based. So I can kick the ball, I can get the ball with the hand, throw it on the ground or to other players. And we call this a portable object, because we can get this object everywhere in the environment, and it's still a twin and is physics-based. every time you make a question to a twin, you get a memory. The memory is the main addition of the VR platform, because you can share these memories with all with other players. You can check out this answer for the that I have that the ball gave me. I said, "Do you have a photo of your vacation?" And he said, "Yes, I was on the beach." And this is a generative AI image of the ball on the beach with the friends. And or just another question that I said, "How is the weather today?" And he said, "I couldn't check out the weather today. I was too busy being kicked around." So it's really a ball that is kicking around. And you can store all the memories in an inventory or in a main archive that you find in the login room. Even the stadium itself can be a twin and is content aware of what is happening. So there is an airship inside the stadium, and I can say, "What is that airship?" And he said, "That's just an advertising blimp. It's just for show. Don't tell anyone." And show me some picture of the airship. This is not an automatic response from ChatGPT or something like that, but is a manual response that I give to the stadium twin. So it's totally contextual and programmable from the web interface. This is the coach that is inside the stadium. He can give you information on what is happening inside the stadium, what you can do inside the stadium. And this is nice because you can have a custom animation too on the twins. So in this version, the twin is seated. Normally is standing and have other animation. And we tried this, and it's working. So it's okay, and I'm happy about this. And then there is the multiplayer. That's the most fun that you can have in Aizuru, because normally you can talk just straightforward with an AI. You cannot talk with a group of people to an AI. In this case, you can, because you are in our front end, and you can have a custom model. This is Daniele, the main programmer of the experience that have use a zombie avatar custom made by me. And there is another programmer, Luca, that have a Ready Player Me avatar. All the characters are EK based, so it's all the animation is all generated by the bones in real time. And we have a custom version of the lip sync that is working really nice, and add more to the character. Everything it's documented, so you can create your custom character in no time. And then there is the joy of virtual reality, because I put inside the stadium with the help of Luca a cannonball that shoots at you some soccer ball, just to show that you can inject custom code inside a custom environment on the platform. So if we can make the video go, or I can do this, guys. There is a video. Ok, thank you.
Adesso l'unica cosa che dobbiamo fare è scegliere la lingua con cui parliamo, scegliere lo stadio.
Sorry, in Italian.
Aspettare che carichi. Caricato. E qua troveremo gli sviluppatori del gioco che insieme a me stanno provando questa sviluppatori di Tomb Raider.
Ormai dobbiamo toccare perché così lo vedo bene.
Luca con un avatar Ready Player Me e Daniele con un avatar zombie custom model. Allora, questo è l'ambiente dello stadio. Come abbiamo visto prima fuori, lo stiamo vedendo all'interno. Completamente esplorabile. Adesso sto usando il teleport per fare prima. Totalmente, completamente esplorabile, anche troppo, esagerato. Ecco qua. Si può andare in qualsiasi parte calpestabile. Tutto completamente esplorabile. E intanto vedi i ragazzi che giocano col pallone giù. Ok, scendo. Non fatelo a casa. E vediamo che tra l'altro io posso già avere informazioni dallo stadio stesso.
Ciao, io sono Stadio. C'è qualcosa che vorresti chiedermi?
Che cos'è quel dirigibile?
Quello è un dirigibile pubblicitario, serve solo per fare scena, ma non dirlo a nessuno. C'è altro che vorresti chiedermi?
E interrompo la conversazione. Ora ho la memoria del dirigibile di cui ho parlato allo stadio. Questa memoria la posso conservare nel mio inventario e farla vedere anche agli altri o scambiarla con gli altri. Lì c'è un pallone. Come abbiamo visto prima, i ragazzi ci stanno giocando perché il pallone è completamente fisico, come tutti quanti gli oggetti interattivi presenti nella nostra esperienza. E tra l'altro questo pallone è interattivo. Anche a
Ciao,
livello
io
di
sono
conversazione.
Pallone. C'è qualcosa che vorresti chiedermi?
Ciao, hai una foto di te?
Quest'anno sono stato al mare. Ecco una foto con i miei amici. C'è altro che vuoi chiedermi?
No, e lo lanciamo. Eccola qua, questa è una foto al mare del pallone con gli amici. E i ragazzi, tra l'altro, possono anche prenderla, interagirci, farla vedere agli altri. E quindi possono prendere questa memoria e metterla nel loro inventario e scambiarla con gli altri. Lì c'è anche un allenatore con cui possiamo parlare, quindi potrebbe dare informazioni sulla squadra, sugli allenamenti, sugli orari, su qualsiasi cosa.
Ciao, io sono allenatore. C'è qualcosa che vorresti chiedermi?
Qual è la tua squadra preferita?
Ovviamente la Fiorentina. Mica voglio farmi linciare. C'è altro che vuoi chiedermi?
Ecco qua. No, grazie. E la conversazione si interrompe. Ora, visto che siamo in realtà virtuale, no? I ragazzi, come vedete, hanno due avatar completamente diversi, come dicevo prima. Possiamo fare pure cose che normalmente non si potrebbero fare in un campo di calcio, tipo, invece di tirare dei rigori normali, facciamoli sparare ad un cannone, per esempio. E come dicevo, sono completamente fisici. I palloni, anche del... Ecco qua. No, quella questa è andata, non l'ho presa. Questa sì. E ce l'ho fatta. Grazie ragazzi. Ciao.
Okay, thanks. We can start over on the slides. Thank you. So this is just a simple demo that we made in 2 weeks. So it's just to show the potential of the experience to a crowd, because it was presented live to a crowd of people. And as I said, there is a lot of potential, because imagine to apply this workflow to historical cultural environment, where you can ask the environment about itself, or to a famous people of that time that is totally like it was in character, like the balloon, the ball that think that is really an object that have had so much kick. So you can ask some historical character about the life that they had at the time, just with a simple prompt and some AI generative answers, or do impossible things like visiting the International Space Station with astronaut. This is a thing because this is a demo that I made with a floating astronaut that show you the ISS. And you can imagine to create a travel application when you can go in places, ask questions, and find information before you go in that places. Or you can create a complex training with the help of the context of the Isuru platform. That is a really powerful model, and with the integration of this and the task that you can give to the twins, and you can create events. That this is a demo that I really have done on the fly when I was on the train for Florence, and it was amazing because I have uploaded this environment from Sketchfab, that animation from Sketchfab, that crowd from Sketchfab, and some music, and it works. And if you think about it, you can create a concert, and the guitar itself can be a twin, so you can ask information to the guitar about the singer. So it's really nice. And you can even create some type of video game, adventure mostly. And I'm creating this game that is named UPA, that show all the features that I show you in the slides, and it's coming up nicely, but I don't have much time for this. And yes, this is it. This is Isuru, our VR platform. And you can pre-register on isuru.com for the upcoming public beta release. And that's my contact. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Marco. And now, bye. Please join me welcoming KATHERINA UFNAROVSKY, co-founder and CEO at Augmented.city from Italy. Her speech is titled Extended Reality and Large Language Model. What is the result of this equation? Welcome, KATHERINA. It's a real pleasure to have you here.
Hi, everybody. I'm very glad to be here because this topic is very, very important for us. And I will explain why. Actually, from the very beginning, from 2006, we have been working with artificial intelligence with another company that called Lenitorque Italy. So we are concentrated with projects based on AI, industrial AI mostly, to help the industry to optimize the processes and to make these processes easier and to concentrate more on high-level tasks for employees. But 3 years ago, because of the special request of our customers, industrial customers, we decided to start another project where I'm co-founder that's called Augmented.city, because 3 years ago we understood that XR had its own future and very potential, very strong future. And now, actually, we all the time combining two technologies, and we even cannot imagine one technology without another one. What is Augmented.city? Augmented.city, it's actually it's a platform. We developed visual positioning system, our visual positioning system that permits our users to create and to play with augmented reality and with extended reality wherever they want. As we use also technologies of air cloud and protocols, geolocalization protocols, so we can create digital twins, we can create digital spaces wherever we want. We can do it in a city scale, or we can do it indoor. If we talk about industrial plant, we can do it indoor for industrial plant to do some kind of navigation or some kind of maintenance assistant in air. If we talk about city scale project, it's always about some kind of smart city or infrastructural direction. So that's this slide is about our main directions, business directions. So we work a lot with education, with as I told you, with smart city industry, real estate, and advertising, brand promotion. So here is just a short video. Hope it will. Oops, does it work? Antony, if you could help me with a video, please do it. Because here you can see why we work with XR, because it helps us to enter the industry, the digitalization of tourism. We do it to promote and valorize the heritage of the territory we are. And actually for Italy, tourism is one of the main business and economical directions. We have a cradle of UNESCO here, and we are very proud of it. But to promote it better, to give another extension to tourism, of course, we need to use extended reality. We need to use immersive technology, and we know all that. This kind of technologies proved that they can be very efficient for, especially for art, for tourism, not only for industry. So our main core advantage, what we do with extended reality, we do it within our digital twins. So now it's not a new word. Everybody knows how it works and why we do it inside digital twins. Because always we divided our projects into different levels. Infrastructural projects, when we talk about smart city, when we talk about large scales, when we talk about really clouds or digital twins of cities, because we have right now the clouds of 2,300 cities in the world. So different operators, different players can create, can do whatever they want, whatever they need, using these digital twins. We have entire cities, like for example in Bari, in my city, we have a digital twin of 170 square kilometers. And for example, for a state of Align in Arab Emirates, we created the space of more than 10 square kilometers for infrastructural projects. What I mean under infrastructural projects? So we talk about the combination of XR and AI, because digital twin cannot not be stable. It should be dynamic all the time. So it cannot be constant, because otherwise it's useless. So all the time it should be dynamic. It should be updated. It should be changed according to the situation. What it gives us, the digital twin? It gives us the possibility, using artificial intelligence, to see, to identify, to recognize different objects. For example, here it's a real picture from our current project. We should classify, we should define, we shall localize where there is rubbish on the streets. We shall identify and classify this kind of rubbish, if it's plastic or if it's paper. And even gives the warning to the authorities where, for example, they should do some kind of works, and how they can plan the works to clean the city, to maintain the urban space clean. The same is with trees, and the same is with different reconstruction areas. So it's very convenient using AI and XR to reconstruct, to recognize, and to define, to plan any works in a smart city, let's say. If we talk about other type of projects, like more consumer market projects, so we talk about maybe tourism or educational projects, here maybe it's better to talk about biggest changing play LLM issue, when we can combine XR with LLM. So we with XR and iCloud-based XR, we can understand where we are. We can focus our mobile phone, or let's say in the future maybe some kind of glasses of augmented reality that are that should be maybe comfortable and not very heavy. Right now we do it with tablet or with a simple cell phone. So we focus on a phone on a building, and what we see can tell us our cell phone using LLM model. So generate a text of what we see. And actually for example, for tourism, it's quite essential, because understanding the position, recognizing the buildings, the objects where we stay, what we look at, we can get the personalized content. And right now we are developing such kind of project for several cities in Italy and for one city in the US. So I hope that in the nearest future I will be able to share with you our results. And actually I will be glad to see you, especially our colleagues in the US and in Italy. I'll be glad to see you to play with our first apps. So that it is. I hope that it's really a good match. It's very useful for everybody, for both for macro level and for micro level. Thank you very much. Tony, you're muted.
This is the classical error of every team call. So thanks, Katerina, for your interesting call. This is an interesting speech. This is what I was saying. So I enjoyed watching it a lot. And now it's the time for our last but not least speaker, which is RAFAEL Brown, which is another professional, which I'm a big fan of. And I always read his very insightful thoughts on LinkedIn, because I like his very practical attitude. So he's the CEO and founder of Symbol Zero and Microsoft Regional Director in California, USA. And his speech is titled The Practical Uses of Artificial Intelligence in Building Virtual Worlds. So RAFAEL, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. All right. So I'm just going to talk. I've got some notes, and I'm going to try to give a game industry professional perspective for XR and particularly for games. So I'm going to be talking on the potential for creation of virtual worlds, because in games we've been making virtual worlds since the 1970s. So, excuse me. Just quick background on myself. I've been a professional game designer, game developer for the last 27 years. I've been 14 years in XR. Just kind of for context, how I got in, I've always liked VR and XR. Yes, since I was a kid, I was able to play with, and how I got back into XR was when I was at id Software, and my boss, a guy named John Carmack, was thinking that it was time for XR to start back up again. At that time, we were working on Rage, and there's a point where I went into John's office. He basically said, this is paraphrasing, but he essentially said, we're done with Rage. Doom doesn't need me quite yet. I'm going to go get some toys. And what he did was he reached out to a whole range of folks, and he did something that probably only he can do, which is he said, "This is John Carmack. Your thing looks pretty nice. Would you send me one?" And about a dozen different folks, different teams across the VR spectrum sent him prototype headsets. And then I go into his office about 2 weeks later, and he's got this array of headsets, and he basically goes, "I think it's time for now." And I'm looking at, wires and exposed logic boards, and going like, really? I love VR, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And he's like, no, it's time. And so he convinced me and a whole lot of us, and he went on from there. He decided at that time that the one that he liked was Palmer Lucky's, and he went and started working with Palmer, and that was his entree into Oculus and the beginnings of Oculus in many respects, in that John did research, and he's always been about graphics and AI, the interlocking of the two. And he was early on cloud. I mean, when I was at id, we were using Amazon AWS for cloud processing and pre-processing before pretty much anybody else in games. And I think John started doing that in like 2007. He explained the importance of cloud to us. He explained where he wanted to go with VR, where he wanted to go with AI. And he's still one of the smartest humans that I know. So just to kind of dive into it, I'm both a game developer and, in some respects, I try to look at the range of where we've come from and where we're going to. What I do want to stress is that AI is a thing that we've always used in games. It's not a new thing. We've used AI in games since the 80s. AI tech tools. We have used what we generally call cloud AI since 2006, when NVIDIA started the CUDA software platform, and then in 2008, when NVIDIA connected up with Microsoft, Google, and IBM in 2010 when they added Amazon. Cloud AI is tech. Gen AI is marketing. It's a particular branded marketing of a thing that we've been doing for about 18 years now. It's nice that people are talking about it. We've been using AI for a long time. And so what I want to stress is that we're in an AI bubble right now. That AI bubble is probably going to burst. And I'll get more into that at the end of this. That AI bubble is going to burst eventually. And those of us who've been working with AI will continue working with AI, and stop talking about Gen AI in the same way that people stop talking about the metaverse. For those of us who wanted to build towards a future metaverse, we never stopped. But we didn't think that it was here because we've always wanted to build towards it and think that it's possible because it's a wonderful concept. In the same fashion, never stopped or started, the last while going, hey, Gen AI. It's like, no, we're going to keep doing AI because it's good, because it's fun to work with, it's interesting. But Gen AI is gradually going to go away in the same way that Web3 gradually went away and the metaverse gradually went away and the mainstream stopped these things. But the practical tech behind it will continue and will continue to grow even when NVIDIA isn't worth $780 per stock. There's a bubble where investors get excited and then social media gets excited around that, but we continue. So I'm going to give some examples of current AI in games, and I'm just going to run through a handful quickly. I've blogged about all of these on LinkedIn, but EA, Electronic Arts, with their Hypermotion V, they're a good example of AI in games is going and where AI in virtual worlds is going, which is enterprise AI. Games are very concerned about IP and copyright infringement and knowing the sources of our data and licensing data and licensing IP and not generally using public tools that have around copyright infringement. And that may be going through lawsuits because nobody who's building a commercial product wants to know that their product is compromised or contaminated. And so I'll start with just Pixar. Pixar has been doing 3D since. Pixar is not going to use somebody else's tools. They're not going to use OpenAI, Anthropic, any of that. What they are going to do, like all these companies, is they're going to use their internal. They have 40 years of data. That data is not scrapable. It is not on the web. That data is on their own internal cloud. They have access to it. And so when Pixar makes tools, they have enough to feed a library themselves because they have 40 years of data. That is where games and film and TV and animation are mostly going, which is using internal pools of data to fill custom tools. Electronic Arts, with their most recent football title, and global football, not American football, their football/soccer title, EA Sports FC, they have a thing called Hypermotion V, and it is cloud AI. What they did was they licensed roughly 300,000 hours of football footage from games globally, and then they fed that into a system that they built, and coming out of that, they have motion capture from that footage. And so they have a library of data that they licensed that gives them custom mocap from video that is then fed into the game and builds libraries of motion and animation data for their game. That's how games are building virtual worlds. They're licensing, careful about IP, and they're doing practical things that are generally bespoke and are enterprise. Ubisoft has been doing the same thing with AI machine learning for procedural animation, not off of video, but off internal games to build out how AI characters can walk up and down complex slopes and things like that. Sony, with their AI system, built Sophie, and Sophie is their deep learning tool, deep learning neural network for building custom for Gran Turismo. They built their own system, their own libraries, and then they trained their own drivers for literally hundreds of simulated years on their own courses. They built custom drivers that they gave different personalities their own game. This is what folks are doing. Microsoft, and I'm a Microsoft RD, which is an advisory, not a Microsoft employee, but Microsoft has frankly had cloud AI available in Azure for the last 10 years or more now. There's voice moderation, there's multiplayer physics, there's a whole host of things that Microsoft built for Xbox and for Azure, but that is literally available to anyone who wants to go into it. Microsoft and Google have both had a ton of machine translation, and they went from having text translation to both text and real-time translation. Roblox, a partner that we work with, they have put in AI tools. They're a really good example of the current state of virtual AI in virtual worlds, where they're basically going, if you want to, you can opt into their script tool. Opt into their script tool that's within their editor, then all of your scripts go into their script tool, and you get access to their script tool, and it will pull from other people's scripts, and you have an easier time building scripts. But if you build good scripts already, and do you want other people to have full access to your scripts through the script tool? These are the choices that we're being given. Another example is Roblox is setting up a developer store. The fine print on the developer store is, Roblox is trying to create a developer store that is asset store and the Unreal Marketplace. The key is that unlike when you build a game world for Roblox, if you build things for their developer store, then you get 100% of the profits, which is wonderful. But the other side is you are training there, because they, like everybody else professionally, realizes that there is a lack of 3D data for doing anything coherent for AI systems. There's a ton for 2D, because all of these, all of the AI companies scrape the web, which has 2D and text data, but there's very little good 3D data. And so you get examples like Roblox going, hey, we're going to give you access to 100% of the profits off of anything you sell in our developer store, and we're going to learn off of what you put into it and gradually replace you. That is this is the conundrum with AI. If we build more understanding of actual 3D, we run the risk that we are also teaching these companies to replace us. As indies, it's a very difficult thing to figure out how to deal with. And this is how companies are getting around copyright infringement. They are either licensing, or they're going to their users and saying, create a new library for us. We won't pay you for it, but you might, you can be in our community and we will gradually learn off you, because to make the sort of libraries that the web has had in the last 30 years, games kind of need to generate that over probably the next 10 to 20 years. It will take time. Nobody is making virtual worlds easily off of AI tools for games unless they're bullshitting. So I'm going to wind examples. Cloud AI is fantastic for creating NPCs, but you need a consistent connection. The best way to think of it is, if you are making an MMO, if you're making a game with an always-on cloud connection, then NPCs can be fantastic. If you're making a single-player game, not so much. Tools need libraries. Those libraries don't exist for 3D. They don't really exist for professional XR. They need to be created. They're going to be expensive. And there's a question of who benefits from them, and whether users are exploited, whether developers are exploited or actually paid fairly. A ton of good work already in moderation, curation, and monitoring. Online worlds will benefit hugely from AI, and Microsoft in particular has literally had tools for that for 10 years, just nobody cared about it until now. It is starting to go more heavily into voice moderation. That's the biggest thing, is a realization that creating online communities that are safe. The most immediate thing is to monitor voice, and then the next thing beyond that is to monitor behavior. Xbox and Roblox are actually both leading the way on that, and Sony and others are coming in quickly behind. A few other things. Cloud for world simulation, for massive world states, for getting to virtual cities and digital twins of cities that are increasingly complex. NVIDIA is early in that with things like NVIDIA Omniverse. There is much more to be done on that. Cloud AI is fantastic for scanning, for tracking, also for avatar bodies. AI can provide legs. AI can provide legs that are responsive, and Ubisoft has already proven that with some of their standard game AI. AI makes great physics, and Microsoft has shown that. AI is great for voice translation here, that, and then Amazon and Microsoft and IBM copied them. Cloud AI is fantastic for creating safe online communities, but it does give up privacy. There's a devil's choice. There's a give and take in all of this. So I know I'm a little over time. Just to wrap up, it will go away. The metaverse bubble, it went away also. That's okay. We will still be here. AI is good for XR. It's just not going to change anything in the next year or two. It's going to change it in the next decade or two. AI is part of the next computing platform, which is spatial computing, which is XR. And DES had 40 years. Spatial computing, or XR and VR, have had 10 years. They need another 30. So slow down. And I'm going to give you the advice that John Carmack gave me at Oculus Connect, I think this was 2015, where he basically said, this is a marathon. Early on, he was like, this is a marathon. Plan to be here for the next few decades. It's going to be slow. It's going to be fun. It's going to take a while. There's a lot of cool tech. Keep in mind that John Carmack has left Oculus Meta, where he was the CTO. He is now running an AGI startup, and he's trying to figure out how he can over the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. He recognized back in 2019, and he'd been thinking about it since he was building AI for Doom and Quake, that AI is integral to virtual worlds. It's just not quick. It takes time. So I'll wrap up there.
Wow, that was a very interesting journey. Also very, very interesting views that come from your experience in the field, and also quite cool names that you worked with. So I would like to invite on stage all the speakers for the debate. Or a bit over time, so we'll be very short. But before I want to ask you a question, Rafael, about John Carmack. So do you think he will be able to develop AGI in the end? I mean, he's a genius, but it's a very tough task.
So my initial thought was no, but at the same time, my initial thought with VR was on. So I've learned to not bet against John. Back in late 2010, John had a point where we were developing on mobile in addition to PC console, and he held up his iPhone 4 and he said, this is going to be, and I was like, no, it's not. And he was right. And he was the one at Oculus who designed and pushed the core of going to Oculus Go and Oculus Quest, and he always knew that the headset needed to be untethered. And I was with him about that. And in 2015, I was showing him stuff on PC VR. He was like, you should go over to you should be figuring out like mobile. And I was messing around with Samsung Gear VR, but every time I bet against John, he's right and I'm wrong. So, he's still the smartest human that I know.
Wow, that's That's a good advice. Never bet against John Carmack. I think it's good. Marco, I would like to ask to you a question in this debate because I would like to follow you, and you can do 3D art. I mean, you're a creative guy, and you have been experimenting the last months about using AI in your work, or if AI can even substitute your work. What are your practical outcomes from this experimentation you did? Can AI already do content for XR out of the box, or
Yeah, this is interesting because I have done some experiment with Luma, and the latest version of Luma that can create 3D object. It's have a nice integration of a retopology tool that is working really well, and the problem is always the same. You have an object that is totally not optimized, but it's getting there, and this is scary because it wasn't there in a few weeks ago. And I'm actually using some form of generative AI images for texture, but I have just ethical models. So models that are trained on ethical stuff. Artists that want to use the model for creation of generative AI, and some of my textures that I generated with some other softwares. So I use the generative AI more that I wanted to do, but I prefer not to, because that make me a little bit like what can I say? I am more interested in use my art and create the art myself, because I have the direction. And I hate not to have the start of the creativity. So I prefer to use the AI just when I really don't have any other possibilities. Like I need to create a flower, and I need to create a leaf. I don't want to steal the leaf of some other poor artist, and I create it with my ethical model of Stable Diffusion. But it's just for small things. I don't think I will use it in production yet. I created some status, and I topologized it with some difficulties, but it's just a stupid status. It's nothing important. It's not a main character or a usable object. The problem is the style. The problem is the optimization. The problem is the texture that is really bad right now. So it's okay, but I prefer not to.
Okay. Katerina, I know your great work you're doing with AR and also with the help of the AI, especially for outdoor AR. I mean, I've been following your work for a while. I'm interested to know because most of these projects are using phones or smartphones, and I'm wondering, when do you think that we will be ready to use maybe also glasses to do something like that? Because at the moment we are hyping mixed reality, which is very cool, but for instance, this headset doesn't give developers the access to the camera feed. So doing this kind of positioning yourself can be pretty complicated, and also most of them don't have a connection or geolocalization, etc. So when do you think, if you had to do a prediction, or what the technology needs to do so that we can do the same things with glasses, in your opinion?
Would you like to get prediction from me regarding the glasses? Well, first of all, to go ahead with our, let's say, XR community and with our main ideas about the future, we have to get these glasses at the end of the day. I don't know why they are not ready still, but we really hope that we will see them. But to be honest, I think that this kind of goal is not very reachable because there are other parallel developments that maybe will bring us to the next step, not to the glasses, which are too heavy. And actually, for me, it's hardly possible to go out with these glasses and feel comfortable with these glasses. And knowing all these underwater stones of hardware, of chips, of capacity, of CPU. So it's hardly possible for me, with my maybe technical background, to imagine in the nearest future good device or glasses. But it's important that they try, big companies, they try. But maybe we will just go to another step and we will have lenses with some some kind of micro chips or micro technologies that will permit us to do something easier and better. But we will know it only in several years. Or maybe all this fight for good glasses will be over and we will not see next generation of good glasses, but we will use something else. So for now, I don't believe very much in the nearest future of these glasses. So next year we will see the new device from Facebook and LG. But I think again we will find some defect of this device, and it will not be perfect still. So let's hope, because for us it will be game changer actually for everybody, because it's nice to think that one day we will just put normal glasses, thin, wonderful, like Ray-Ban, like Luxottica produces for international market, and we'll see everything, we interact with everything. Right now I prefer to concentrate my attention with industrial projects, with real projects that bring us some results, concrete results, because I'm quite realistic person, and maybe again, because we develop all these technologies, we know the dark side of it, let's say.
Yeah. No, that's very interesting, and I like your practical view. So that's good to hear. And talking with another person with a practical view, like Rafael. So you showed us the real face, let's say, of AI. So that now there is a lot of hype, and probably the bubble will burst. And it's interesting, to ask the same question that everyone is asking now, and it's about, will AI replace all our jobs, etc., etc. So of course, maybe in a lot of years, yes, it will happen. But my question is more like, with the current technology, may it happen? Because I remember reading one of the big heads of AI saying that basically, in his opinion, LLMs, these language models, anyway have limited possible outcomes. Even if the technology evolves, you need other technologies like to replace humans. And I would like to hear your opinion about this.
Yeah. I think the important thing to remember is that, at least on a theoretical level, we've been doing AI since the 1950s. And AI has been part of computing technology really actively since about the 1980s. Nothing is really going to replace humans. Humans will just do different jobs and different tasks. When Photoshop first came up, Photoshop didn't replace humans, it just gave us new tools. If Photoshop puts AI tech into it, it doesn't really replace humans. We just find different things to do. But it is important to say that we need to have ethical. We need to not devalue the work of artists and authors. I don't find it productive when people say like, oh, we don't need programming languages anymore. AI will just replace that. AI is not going to replace art. It's not going to replace engineering because these large language models don't understand structure. They don't understand aesthetics. They are predictive models that are absolutely very limited, and they rely on remixing whatever is the data that you put into them. And when I hear about the potential for it replacing humans, I Pixar movie WALL-E. I don't want humans to become like the humans in WALL-E, where we just float around as kind of obese creatures that are serviced by AI and robots. Humans are vibrant, we are active, we're imaginative, and I don't think that we have that complacency that was in WALL-E. That, what was in WALL-E was a warning to remind ourselves that we do our best work when we work hard, we create new things and we're excited about that, and we don't let things make for us, because the biggest thing that AI cannot do, creation is an iterative process. It's humans with expertise and aesthetics and understanding of structure know how to make good things better, and it is not fair or correct to equate the remixing that of predictive models like LLMs to we do when we synthesize years to decades to centuries of human progress, and we sit down and we go, this is how I make something new. When we make something new as humans, it's different from, oh, here, let me give you the most pleasing thing based on a statistical model. We go, Nick Cave has written on this, the singer has written on the creative process that humans go through experience, we go through suffering, and we make something new that comes out of our lived experience. AI doesn't live. Until AI is sentient, it cannot create on the level that we do because of life and out of our own understanding. So I'm not too worried about AI because AI currently are tools. If we have sentient AI, then that may be a different story, but that's still science fiction.
Let's just hope this sentient AI is not associated with some robots from Boston Dynamics. Otherwise, we can just leave Terminator for real. So thank you, Rafael, for this view. We are very late, so really thanks to the speakers, and I want to stay here until now. I think it's been a very, very cool event. I would want to stay speaking with you for at least another half an hour, maybe another time. So I'll thank everyone. I leave the word for Cecilia for the last goodbye.
Thank you, Rafael. Thank you, Katherina, and thank you, Marco. Thank you all for being here today. AWE USA 2024 moves to Long Beach, California this year from June 18 to June 20, primarily as in a person conference and also in an online element. See you there and see you soon at the next Nite Florence event. Bye-bye.